Welcome to the next episode of the Red Mic, and today we have, I'll tell you who it is, the elusive Melissa Platt.
Oh. The elusive.
She made our meeting today, and she's here on the podcast, and I'm like, man, that is commitment. That is commitment, Melissa.
Yes, and it is her birthday.
Oh, that's true.
Work on your birthday.
So that's what you got to go do. You got to do some birthday stuff. You're probably booked all day with mimosas.
Oh gosh, I wish.
And then Megan, my wife, she decided to jump in on this one. I actually did not want her to be on this podcast
She's my
today.
security guard.
But she said she had to protect Melissa from the hard-hitting questions that I normally do.
Yeah.
And then I had Trey Stewart.
What's up?
Trey Stewart's the yin to my yang.
Oh, thank you.
So, Melissa, welcome. We're happy to have you at the agency, and we're happy to have you here on the podcast today.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and one of the main topics that we just had was a terminal, or what should I say?
Terminal.
Take it from here,
volatile real estate market.
Yeah.
It's a volatile real estate market where we are now.
Well, and Melissa, you spend time in Dallas and LA. Where do you feel like right now it's worse?
That's a good question.
Are we talking about the market?
Yes.
Conditions.
Well,
Market
but
conditions.
we'll start with market conditions.
We also like dating life too. Let us know on that.
Oh gosh. Well, yeah, we can get into that too. So where is it worse? I find that properties are sitting for longer in LA, if you're looking at it from, that aspect. But in Dallas, I mean, everyone's just moving here. So I don't think it's worse. I think it's better.
I think it's better than LA too. And I'll tell you that Mauricio, when I had him on the podcast, he actually did say the same thing. He said the ultra luxury in California is like, if it doesn't sell quick, it's going to sit until it expires. Because there's $40 million houses on the market, and there's a finite effect.
And they all look the same.
Yeah.
It's true.
Also, too, at the hair salon that I was telling you, they saw your podcast. They said also the rich man tax in California.
Oh no, it's the mansion tax.
Mansion tax.
Yeah. Okay, Melissa, can you explain that?
Yeah.
What the mansion tax?
I will tell you what it is because Mauricio broke it down for me on the podcast. He said basically there's a percentage of every house over, and I want to say it was 5 million, something like that. Anything over 5 million, it's like an extra 10% they pay. So think about paying 10% on the house that you bought plus your regular taxes.
And that's like a sales tax.
That's an additional tax that goes towards the state of California, plus normal property taxes, plus closing costs. So then Mauricio said it was a big problem.
Yeah, that's
James actually. James.
Yes.
James said the same thing. He said like it's absolutely affected his business.
Yeah, and before the deadline for when that would start, everyone was trying to buy and sell.
Which that'd be good. That'd be a reason.
Well, California sounds like a dream. So
It is.
when did you?
However,
There's pros and cons, of course.
Of course, just like anywhere.
So you grew up in Dallas, is that right?
Yes,
So
Plano.
when did you move to LA?
I moved to LA in 2013.
Oh, and what brought you to LA?
My brother went to USC and I went to University of Arizona. So a lot of my friends moved to LA and I just wanted to take a risk because I knew that Dallas was my future.
Yeah.
So I wanted to see what LA was all about. And I thought I'd be there for 1 year and I was there for 7.
And what did you initially go to LA for? Was it for real estate or were you pursuing another career?
Risk. It was just to live somewhere else other than Arizona and Dallas. And so when I went there, my parents said, you have to have a job or you can't move there. And so I was an intern for fashion PR company.
Oh.
And it was horrible. Yeah.
How did you make it?
What was your major?
Family studies and human development. So no matter what career you're in, it's just how you interact with people.
Yeah.
And yeah, fashion PR is just not my thing. I mean, fashion's tough.
Yeah.
The people in that industry, like I give it to them. It's a tough business. It's not all the glitz and the glam, which is like real estate too, right?
No, it's 100% right. The real estate aspect of it is nowhere near how they make it look online. And you're a prime example of this because you were on the Buying Beverly Hills season 1, and then I was going to ask you just one question about it because I know you probably don't want to spoil anything, right?
No, I can't spoil, but I'll give you what you want. Just
well, the one
me.
thing I did want to know is, are you the villain this season?
Oh, that's a good question.
No comment.
Oh.
Given the ratings
Interesting.
again, it was a C in reality.
But see, I don't feel like you were the villain. It's kind of like in The Devil Wears Prada. Like,
Oh, she was a villain.
Miranda Priestley's not the villain. Emily's the villain. I feel like you were really kind of you were being honest. Yeah, you were. Like you weren't. I've met some reality TV villains, and they're assholes. You are definitely not an asshole. They're assholes on and off camera. You are. I think you were being honest and giving like good criticism.
Exactly, and
That's what a good friend does.
I talk about it in the show, but on the first season. But the thing is when I'm sitting next to my best friend and her sister, who I'm also close with, I can't go over my best friend and say, "Hey, you should do X, Y, and Z better." Like, Farrah look at me and be like, "Who are you to say that to my sister?" I shouldn't have said it to Sonica, which I did in the background, and then it just turned into a whole
Does
thing. But I
Sonica
was
still
really
work
looking
there?
out for her. What?
Does Sonica still work there?
She does, but I don't see her a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you may have had her fired.
Well, you'll find out.
She's not going to watch this podcast, I bet. Right, Josh?
Yeah.
So I know Damon and Megan have told me that you have like one of the OG agency emails.
Yep.
So
Yeah, guess what it is?
yeah, it's just Melissa at the agency. Yeah.
agency.com.
So when did you join the agency, and how did that all connect?
I was
So
going to
in
ask that question, Trey. That was on my question board, Trey.
Wake up, Brandon. Wake up.
So when I was done with fashion PR, I got my real estate license in California. And I actually became an assistant for a team at Hilton and Highland. Do you know Rick Hilton's company, which is Mauricio's brother?
That was pre-agency, yeah.
Yes. And then I had a friend over at the agency that I went to college with, and he was like, "Hey, you should come to our open house." It was $34 million open house on Oriole, and they just pulled out the most crazy open house I've ever been to. The cars, the DJ, the food. And I'm used to going to open houses that are like, here's a cupcake, like just totally like, I want to take a nap when I go there. But this open house, I was like, wow. And I was like, I have to work for this company. So he got me a handful of interviews, and I went over there 6 months later.
That's awesome.
And you were working for RJ. So that was the name?
Switch that around, JR.
JR.
Yes, Jonathan Ruiz. After working with JR, and we're still great friends, I went to go work for Alejandro Aldrete, where I was challenged every day. I really learned the market. We got to deal with some incredible clients. We broke the record in Beverly Hills flats for $22 million. Now that's gone way up from there. But,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
he's a superstar, and I give him a lot of credit to where I am today. He's awesome.
Yeah, and he still says he's selling a lot out there, and so does Billy Rose, and so does Mauricio.
Yeah.
I mean, this is probably one of the only companies that's like a real estate, true brokerage, luxury brokerage, that the owners, including myself and including every managing partner that I know of, actually sell real estate and are not just sitting there behind a desk saying, here's all the things that I'm going to dangle for you guys, and then y'all go to work.
For sure. And I think
It's like walking the walk and talking the talk, and I think people respect that in the real estate business when they're coming and working for a company like this.
Exactly. And yeah, the TV stuff is so cool. $1 Million Listing, Housewives, the show we have on Netflix. However,
Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars. But this company is so badass with the producers that we have and the numbers that clearly you can look it up. I mean, we kill it. Like I want people to know of the agency as like a really great company with really awesome real estate agents that work really hard and satisfy their clients.
Per capita, it's the highest sales volume per agent in the industry.
Yeah.
Okay, so kind of on that same subject, this is maybe a little more controversial. So then you look at some of these other real estate shows,
Yes.
and you see some of the cast members that produce maybe one house a year.
Okay.
Does that like piss you off as someone that's like actually hustling and grinding and trying to show the real side? Because when I watched Buying Beverly Hills, to me, that felt like more of an accurate glimpse
Yes.
into real estate versus like I'm seeing someone glammed up in head to toe Chanel every day, going to lunch, sitting on someone else's couch, having an argument. Does it kind of annoy you that you're like, well, we are actually selling houses and we are.
That's an awesome question. Awesome. Yeah, it's frustrating because I get calls and they're like, I want to get into real estate. It looks so easy and fun. And I'm like, it's not, because on these other, same with our show too, but it'll say sales price, 12.5 million, commission, and it's like, what people don't understand is you have a split with your brokerage.
Mhm.
You might have a team where you have another split. And also it's usually half of that. And it's not all easy. And I think with our show, it's real in the sense that, I mean, I represent a lot of buyers, and the first season on the show, like I didn't close one deal, and that's real life.
Yeah.
You know? And because with our producers, we can't make anything up. I can't bring someone and be like, oh my God, we sold it to you. Done. Here's my commission check. Like, no, I didn't get the listing, or I didn't sell to my buyer. And
I think that's nice, though. That's nice to have the reality.
It is, because it's the truth, and I think our shows shows a lot of the frustrations with that as well.
There was some stuff going on about, we can say Selling Sunset. I don't care. I mean, it's about the show Selling Sunset, but they were saying like behind the scenes, some of the girls that were on the show weren't even licensed real estate agents.
That's what I heard too, and I can't watch Selling Sunset because it kind of messes with my head for my day-to-day when I'm filming Buying Beverly Hills. But those girls are killing it, and they look good doing it. They're doing a great job. That show is an incredible franchise.
Yep.
The Oppenheim brothers have been nothing but kind to us and supportive, and they're like, welcome to the family when our show came out. So I love them. And it's actually funny, selling OC, I've known Alex Hall, who's a badass, a beautiful girl, since I was 18.
Oh, really?
San Carlos together, like when we were in college. And, you know, you got to give that franchise credit. Even though Buying Beverly Hills is totally different, you know, people are obsessed with that show. I just hope they become obsessed with ours too, because they're different.
Well, Mauricio was like super excited about season 2. He was like, it's going to be 200%
season
better.
1 out of the water.
Yeah. Because I think y'all probably got your, what do they call it? Your sea legs?
Yeah.
The first episode, the first season, then the second season, y'all kind of know what to expect now. And you said you were out there like shooting second shots for some of the stuff because y'all want the pickups because y'all want this to be like a killer season.
Exactly. And up to date. I think that's really important. But I have to give it to our producers and showrunner and creative writers. Not writers. Gosh, not writers. This is a unscripted show.
Yeah. Your writers.
The creativity that they've...
She just spilled the beans.
No. The creativity that they've brought to life, you'll really see it this season.
Yeah.
The producers are really cool too. Like, we hung out with them. We go get drinks with them. It's not, I think some people think producers and the cast, they don't really mingle, and I'm obsessed with them.
I think that like Trey and I, when we do this podcast, we're always talking with Josh and stuff.
Jay.
I said Trey.
Yeah.
No, Trey.
We're still getting to know each other.
Yeah.
So I feel like when Real Housewives of Beverly Hills came out, it really changed the game for the other housewives, from the sense of like everyone needed to step up their fashion game. And Selling Sunsets, that said, those girls bring the looks, and season after season,
their bodies.
it elevates. Do you feel like now coming onto a realistic reality show, you have to like pull out a look for every scene?
100%.
Is that like not so stressful?
Oh, it is. Glam.
Yeah.
You know, that's hair and makeup, outfit. Yeah. And also too, the first season, like, I wear sneakers all the time. Like, that's my thing. However, like, you know, seeing it in real life, it looks cool, but I'm like, I want to feel like more elevated, more professional. Like, I got to throw my pair of heels on, even if they're so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You know, you notice things too and change it up a bit. But yeah, it's like, but you also don't want to go into debt just to like, you know, feel like you have to buy something to look good on TV.
I remember
I can imagine that. Yeah.
I remember when Real Houses of Dallas was filming, it was like all good, like to start, but like month 3, the girls like ran out of things to buy at the mall. It's like there's only so, and it's like someone's like, no, so-and-so wore that yesterday, you can't wear that. And it's like, oh shit, like what about now? What do I do?
Exactly. And then also you find out, let's say you wore a killer outfit to one of the scenes and then they don't air.
Yeah.
You're like,
damn, gotta rewear it.
Learn that. So now when I get dressed, I'm like, hey, do you think this scene's gonna make it? Like, you know, our producers, and they're like, just come. Just stop asking questions. Just get here. You're already 20 minutes late. Okay.
If you make a scene, it'll be a scene.
Exactly.
That's
Do y'all follow the housewives on Instagram, like the
I follow all of it. I
like?
watch it
But
all.
what about the
So
house?
straight.
What about like the Bravo housewife actual Instagram? Like not the girls themselves with the Bravo one.
Poppy of Pop,
Yeah.
I think that's the name. He's awesome. Y'all should follow that.
I'm actually surprised at how much Damon follows Real Housewives. I'm actually very impressed.
Yeah.
Let me tell
He
you why.
follows-
Because
from day one.
I'll tell you why.
Hilarious.
Because literally, you say day one. I've been suckered into it since day one because she would not let me watch anything else on the TV at night. And one thing I like to do at night before going to bed is like watch something mindless so I can go to sleep. And she'd constantly have the Housewives on. So of course I'm like, why do they act like this? I mean, I just don't get it. The next day they're just going to lunch and apologizing, then restarting it and doing all that. But the whole point of this is Dorinda, and you were just talking about this, how you have to glam yourself up. So they had a before and after of Dorinda. The before was her getting off of a plane, headphones in her ear, no makeup on. The after was her done to the nines, not even looking like the same person. You wouldn't even pick those two out and say they are related. That's how different it was. Josh, I'm going to need you to put that on this podcast. And scene.
Yeah, well, whenever the Instagram thing, because Housewives has been out forever, and I'm ride or die, big time fan. I watched all your stuff. You were in all of them.
I never
for
even saw them in
Dallas.
there.
Yeah, David was like, Trey was there. I was like, yes, duh. But it was hilarious because one, I noted when Instagram all started, I randomly one day went to see who all Damon was following, and it was all the housewife people. And I was like,
That is so funny.
It's mindless
weird.
entertainment. What can I say?
But he's like so invested at that point. But then here's the most hilarious, and he's gonna get really pissed that I let y'all in. But I'm gonna spill the secrets. He also
I do not talk
downloaded
about this.
and I got his iTunes on his iTunes,
This
and he
is- do
had
not
these
disclose
songs
this.
from
Wait, which ones?
the
Just one.
girl
There's just
from Beverly
one.
Hills.
It was
Erica Jane?
No, this
No,
was a long time ago.
Just a while ago.
It starts with a G.
Oh, Gretchen.
Gretchen.
Yeah.
Gretchen, and he had her on his playlist. She released a song on one episode.
That is good.
Interesting.
No, it was
like-
she literally produced a real song, and I'm like thinking this is actually not bad.
Yeah.
So I went to the App Store for iTunes, and it was there. So I downloaded and listened to it. It's not like it was on my. You could probably see the plays. It's 2. It's not like I've had hundreds.
Every
And I'm
time I
just
got
like, every
his
time
car
work out and
played,
listen
and
to
I was
Gretchen
like, this
Ross.
is weird. Just kidding. But he was like, it's a good song. And
Yeah, some of the songs are really catchy.
Yeah.
Erica Jane's, I love
Erica
her.
James is amazing.
They're a bomb.
She's
Yeah.
supposed to go see her in
is
Vegas.
so talented all day, every day.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Just
could go
goes for
see,
48
Zara out
hours
there.
because I can't sleep.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Yeah. In and out. And then it's amazing. Which,
Yeah.
speaking of, we have Forum coming up.
Yeah,
Yep.
we do.
Week.
Yes.
Forum
Are you going to
is-
have a full glam team there?
Yes.
Oh,
I'm
good for
actually
you.
bringing my glam from here.
You are you really?
Yes.
Wait, who's your glam person here?
Alan, Jen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He does my hair and makeup, so it's perfect. I'll look flawless.
I love it.
Nice.
But I think every time I see you guys on the show, and this time you showed a lot of behind the scenes, which
We were able to.
yeah. So we've been able to see a lot of sneak peeks of what's coming,
Yes.
and y'all look amazing.
Thank you.
The outfits are
seen
amazing. The
this.
locations are amazing.
Yeah.
All the Aspen footage, Miami.
Oh, yeah. Because we show a little bit of both. You know, Miami, of the party life, like penthouses, the beach, and then Aspen, the mountains.
Yeah.
You know.
Was Daniel on that show?
Who?
Daniel from Miami, managing partner.
Oh, yes. He showed us around.
Nice.
How is social
Inside
media
too.
for you with the show since it all comes out at once? Do you feel
Yes.
like you don't get a lot of the heat like these other reality shows? People will be mad at you for a week and they will
that's
just
true.
just pound it. Do you feel like it's a little bit easier because it all comes out at once? Or do you still kind of get it?
I didn't get it as much as I thought I would get it too. But I also heard because it's the first season, sometimes people don't invest their trollness or whatever,
Yeah.
or even nice
Trollness.
compliments because they don't know if you'll be back, right?
Mhm.
Or even invest in following you. But yeah, I mean, I got some mean things here and there, but they also were like, I'm on episode 3 and you are the worst, you know?
Yeah.
And then like
Like watch episode 4.
comments deleted like 2 days later. So they finished the series. So, but
You're the
yeah,
worst.
that's a good question. But yeah, I think that people where their shows come out weekly,
Mm-hmm.
they get a lot more heat because ours you can probably finish in a day.
I have
Yeah.
a question. I do have a question before I forget because I was thinking about this earlier. So when we launched you on the agency, I had a guy reach out to me and say, Melissa Platt, can you hook it up?
Oh,
And I was like, you know what? Probably not.
Can you
But-
send me his info and let me do a deep dive and then I'll approve?
That was a client of mine that I've known for years, and he's like a single dad with
How
2
tall is he?
girls. He's
that's
tall.
fine. I'm
He's
available.
nice. But trust me when I say he's the super nice guy, like nicest guy in the world.
You never told me about this.
I know, because I'm like,
love
you know-
matchmaking people.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I know. Yeah. That's why
Yeah,
we're
he's
going
like
to get into dating life
6'3".
too, right?
okay.
6'3" is amazing.
7 figures, tall, abs. I just figured it wouldn't work. I'm just kidding.
Lie.
Pull up a picture.
Lie.
Let's see it.
God, David, yeah.
Okay, so how is now kind of adding in everything
Trey's trying to keep
you've
us
got going on?
here.
Yeah. Everything you've got going on between traveling between LA and Dallas, filming a show, selling real estate. How is dating? Do you feel like
She has no time for nothing. Why do you think I called her Mrs. Elusive?
Yeah. Do you feel like making yourself more available to the public and more of a public figure kind of makes it a harder part to that, or is it?
I would say the worst thing about it, when it comes to dating, is people. Let's say there's guys in Dallas, they think I'm in LA. Guys that are in LA think I'm in Dallas. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, wherever I am, people don't think I am, so that hurts too. I would say the thing that hurts me the most, in this world that I'm living in, work, TV show, just life, is that my Instagram shows I'm, filming a show and I'm traveling, I'm doing all this and that, when I'm really at home with my dog watching TV. Like, that's really my full homeless, big sweatpants, maybe a little crop top to look somewhat cute, but I think that's
Just in case somebody knocks on the door.
Yeah, and I think guys are really, and this is what I've been told too by some guys, they're very intimidated by me, but I'm like, you don't know me.
I think that's 100% right. I mean, I think a lot of people would not reach out to you directly just because they'd feel like they're like DMing somebody that's going to just blow them off.
Yeah, exactly.
But they don't know how really lonely you are.
What is your list of requirements?
So I actually just started reading this book that, tells you like manifest.
Yeah.
Oh, I believe that too. I believe in that.
Put it out there. And I just really want someone that loves me for me, that, can rage or can sit on the sofa all day long, and someone that's motivated to be very successful. It doesn't have to be successful, just the motivation I need to be there. But,
Well, I'll start forwarding those DMs to you.
The right person.
When somebody reaches out to me, I'll just forward it to you and say, good luck.
Thank you. But, and really in today's day and age, it is hard because it's all about the dating apps. And I don't come across myself in the dating apps. The messaging back and forth, I overanalyze it. I forget to respond. And you're just like, my personality doesn't come off. And I'm sarcastic, like full of energy. And some people just don't get it.
Yeah.
And I think in person, I'm way better. And I'd rather just meet someone like at a Subway,
Yeah, more organic.
Subway of all places.
Yeah.
Yes.
I met Damon at a gas station, so it worked.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, how did that happen?
With me ever since.
Having gas in my car. I just turned 16, just had my first car, and put gas in it, and he trolled up. Was like, hey, girl.
First of all, it was her and her friend and me and my friend, and we were going cross paths. She was going to Garland, and I was going to Plano parties, filling up gas, and I literally looked over at her and her friend and said, where are y'all going? And she was like,
he said, can I get your beeper number?
I can't. I did. Just she's like, we're going to a party. And I was like, can I beep y'all later?
Yeah.
Can I beep y'all later?
So I didn't give it to him. My friend did. And then he beeped her something later, and he's like, I didn't want your number. I can one of your friends. But
Me?
yeah.
No, I want
you're
yours.
trying to be cool.
Yes, I know. But I didn't give it to you.
No, I think, your friend Stephanie gave her beeper number, and I said I wanted Megan's.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how you say it, but
Yeah.
her saying, well, your friends.
No.
Yeah,
I was like, you know what? Your friend. And she said, no. Okay, well, you're cool too.
Yeah. He's like, you'll do.
That's okay. I feel like that would happen now. I feel like you'd get pepper sprayed if you asked someone their number at a gas station.
Oh my God.
I
Like,
didn't
you see how
even go to
about
his
this?
car.
This is so
I
crazy
stayed
right
at my
now.
car, and I was like, not happening. And then he kept reaching out, and I was like, I think I told him at one time, you don't go to the same school as me. I don't know anything about you, so no thank you. But he just kept reaching out.
I was like good. I was a good follow up. Yeah, I was a good follow up.
Yeah, but you say how like someone comes out to you and you pepper spray. So what do y'all feel honestly about door knocking?
Oh, hell no.
I like door knocking to the extent of you have to be like in a very prepared situation. Like if you got out of your car and said, I'm going to knock this entire street, and you have nothing in your hands and you're just a random person at a door, you're going to have a terrible situation happen to you.
Well,
I'm
I
not
think of
terrible
myself,
like
I don't
violently.
think I'd open the door.
No,
You know,
most
you look very
people wouldn't.
friendly.
No.
However, do you want to know what's successful is when you have like little bags in your hand, or Allie does this thing where she pushes her dog in a little stroller.
See, that's smart.
Yeah.
And then she looks, and of course she's
Approachable.
female too, but she also looks extremely,
Well, I have a huge golden retriever, so you probably want to jump
Yeah.
on them.
and then she says like people will actually open the door and she can talk to him. But, for like me or somebody else in the office that's, tall and not a small person, and you're knocking on the door like, I'd like to sell your house today. I think it's more about like, they get the roofers that do that kind of stuff. They get the pest people that do that kind of stuff. So now everybody's
sellers.
The magazines, people are now conditioned to not open their door unless it's Amazon.
See, I think about like, I would, if someone knocks my door, I'm never answering. Like, unless you're a Girl Scout, you better have Thin Mints or I'm not opening it. Yeah.
I even trained our daughter. She cannot go to the door anymore because she started at the door. She would run because thinking it's one of the next door neighbor's friends. And I'm like, absolutely not. Never, because our door's see-through. So I'm like, never go to the door no matter what.
She always
like,
does
if Dad's not here, we don't answer.
And you keep hearing all these real estate podcasts or real estate coaches that say door knock, door knock, door knock. And it's like,
No, I agree.
I think the door knocking at the right time and place, they say that there's like a good time to do it during the day. They say be prepared, like have something to hand them and just say, I'm here to show you about what's sold recently in the neighborhood. Here's a CMA. Those kind of things I think would help. But if they don't answer the door, you also need to leave something on the porch. And then to have your information and also like some kind of little goodie thing that says, I'm not a threatening person. I'm actually just a local realtor.
So I was doing it when I was at Compass working for Jonathan Rosen, and I came up with this idea. This was after all the hurricanes and that swept through and tore a lot of the homes down.
Preston.
Hurricane. Oh my God.
Tornado.
I was thinking,
looked at me like, and I was like, I got that wrong.
I was thinking New Orleans when all that happened.
Tornadoes and stuff. And so I just
we had a hurricane coming from Galveston.
If you need, we have these that could be up for lease, and like he helped me with it, and it was great. But the first home I went to, I rang the doorbell, no answer. So I put this cute little thing like from Canva that I made into their little mailbox, and my nail got stuck.
Oh man!
And it ripped off in between, and I was like bleeding as I was walking.
Oh wow!
They got an extra gift that day.
I went my car drove on. Yeah, it was horrible.
They text you with a picture of half your nail and say, "Did you?"
Literally, my nail was still in there. It was turquoise as well. So there's the turquoise nail with my card in there with my. I'm just like
a little DNA.
Really gave them a piece of you.
Oh my God! Yeah. Could you imagine? They're like, man, this chick's serious.
Yeah. Well, after that.
Blood offering. Yeah. So I'm sure you get a lot of messages from other agents.
Yes.
Just being on Buying Beverly Hills. What is some advice you would give agents that are new in this market, that are trying to figure out from that you've learned in your 10 years in real estate?
I would give the advice that I took myself, and it is to be an assistant for an agent. Because you can be a licensed assistant and still do your own deals, but be underneath someone. Because when you go into it without any sort of mentor, a lot of things can go wrong. And this job, it's a huge liability if something does go wrong.
Yep.
So that's the advice I give to people who come to me and ask, because that's how I learn the business.
We get a lot of those type of agents also reaching out to us to try to join the agency, and unfortunately it's not.
Tell them to come work for me.
I'll just say, you know what, we have an agent that really just wants you to run her life for her. Would you mind doing that?
Yes, please.
When was the moment when you feel like you've made it in real estate?
So another great question. So when I was with Alejandro and then I went on my own, because I'd been with him for 3 years, and he was opening the offices in Punta Mita, and I was like, okay, this is my time now to be on my own. I represented Chandler Parsons, former NBA player, on a $12.5 million house in Bel Air. And that's when I was like, all my hard work and all my dedication, I finally made it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
and when was that in
they
your career?
trusted me. That was in 2018.
So what, you like hustled and grinded for 5 years before you were like, all right, I got this.
Exactly.
Wow. That's
It's
awesome.
also being under someone too. I was like, I'm ready to go on my own. And Alejandro was like, you're ready. It wasn't like I was leaving a assistant job too early, anything. And I was still my own agent, but working underneath someone. But it was like, I'm ready to go on my own. And he was like, give you all, my blessing. And I was like, okay, bye. And then I sold that. And that was really cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me about Buying Beverly Hills. Can you say when season 2 is coming out?
I'll tell you when we think it's coming out.
Okay.
That's a thing. I haven't been told. So I think it's going to come out like February or March.
Okay.
We obviously thought it would come out sooner, but these things take time, and And I also think with Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, it's weekly.
Yeah.
So this is just my thought process. I'm thinking that probably has to be done before we could come out.
That makes sense. That's gonna line up like perfectly.
Like you said earlier, you could watch it one day, and you could find out things maybe that could be on that show too, because they're both back and forth. So, I think it's going to be February, March.
Are we gonna get some of the Real Houses of Beverly Hills drama feeding over to Buying Beverly Hills? Do you think?
I don't know.
Were y'all filming at the same time?
A little overlap, I think. But I don't know. You'll have. What do they say? I hate this when people say you'll have to watch.
Yeah.
But you do. You do have to tune in.
Yeah, I think just a sign step on that.
Yes. Yes.
You'll, that's the that's the snippet thing is you'll have to tune in to find out.
Tune in. I'm like, just calm down.
And back to what Trey said, actually, it was actually a good topic that I've actually thought quite a bit about, which was Netflix and Amazon. Well, I don't think Amazon does it. I think it's mostly Netflix that just like, here's an entire season, go watch it.
Yeah, they just drop it.
It's tough to like think, is that really the best way to do it? Or is it better for like, Megan, you watch it like every time it's
established.
Yeah.
Every time Real Housewives franchises are established. They have loyal fans that know to tune in weekly.
Right.
I think if there's a new show or semi-new show, you might lose interest if you have to tune in weekly, like with a Buying Beverly Hills or whatever. And the fact you can watch it all in one day or spread it out, and it's kind of up to you. But I think Bravo's established in the way that they know how that it works for them.
So here's a question for like the Netflixes of the world right now. And I think that the Amazon is kind of like a hybrid in between. They don't do it exactly like that, and they also don't do the weekly stuff. But you can buy all those shows on Amazon and then watch them, when they come out, as if you don't subscribe to Bravo and all that stuff. But if somebody does, the only problem I think about with like the way that they do release an entire season is, like he said, it's in and it's out. So like you don't think about it much after you've knocked out the season.
Yes.
And for y'all to do so much in such a short period of time and then come out with, what is it this year, 10 episodes?
Yes.
10 episodes, and then if somebody can watch it literally in 2 days, I almost feel like it's better to have one episode released once every week, and then it stays on people's minds, because then, of course, nobody's like canceling the Netflix subscription. Like $25 is not going to be worth keeping it for next month. But for like the actual validity of the show, and then like how quickly people are going to be like, now, what are we, a year? Is it a year and a half since the last season?
No, it came out November 4th last year.
Okay, so it's 1 year now. So in 1 year, which everybody could have watched it, now you have a year later. Well, now it's going to be 16 months later. You can watch it again. So like that may be the only negative to it. It's like,
I disagree.
Yeah, I disagree.
Because I think people's attention spans are like this long. Yeah. And so if I can sit down and I can binge it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
We are in the world of binging. And two, it's also that their last season hit top 10 on Netflix multiple times. I saw it hit up during the summer. Originally when it came out, and then
it was in the top 10 for like at least 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, so I think it's great, and that's the world we live in right now. And
people just want it all fast and now.
So
it doesn't keep you from watching every week on Bravo.
Well, and Netflix has such a wide net that it casts. Is there anywhere that you're like, oh, wait, I'm shocked that people like watch our show there, like Australia, the UK, like
it's wild.
Isn't that crazy?
It's so crazy.
Oh, I never even thought about that. The other countries, for sure.
I remember with Housewives, it was always airing somewhere, like throughout the year. So like there'd be an influx of like people from Australia would be talking about it. It's like, huh?
Yeah. Well, they were clever, because the cover image for the season would change, so it's still fresh. Yes. And then you're like, wait, did I watch that? Maybe I need to watch it again. And Farrah was on it, by her best friend, by the way.
She sleeps on our bed when she's in California.
Yeah.
Literally.
So I think they've mastered it. I've watched it twice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Farrah, I think you told me what happened since last season.
What?
Well, it's out in the news.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know. The engagement's off.
Yes.
All right. Before we wrap this, Damon, what are your hard hitting questions that we might?
I start instant sweating.
I joke about the hard hitting questions. I don't really have anything to say for Melissa. Plus, Melissa's already dodged a few today, so
enough comment.
Just gonna no comment on that one. Now, honestly, I think Melissa's whole demeanor and everything for the agency is perfect for like what the brand is, and I love that about her. So like, you know, when she originally, like when we were starting this thing up, Melissa was behind the scenes with us, like helping us almost like every week. Something we'd be texting with Melissa about something, and you know, trying to make sure that everything was like going in this right direction that we were, because you know,
Melissa was here way before us.
Yeah, exactly.
In Dallas.
And yeah, and she, you know, she said multiple times like she was thinking about starting it up herself, and then she's like, I'm glad I didn't.
Yeah.
Trust me, it's a labor of love. There's no question about that. But I think that we're, you know, in a good stride right now. And, you know, Melissa's like one of the, you know, good reasons to, you know, have on the podcast today, because she's such a good example of the brand. And, you know, the show itself, like Buying Beverly Hills to me, which again, you know, I talked to Mauricio about this, and I think the show is really well done as far as just who videos it. Because, you know, like working in the business that we're in, the video quality is like, you're always looking at that like, okay, that looks pretty good. And sometimes you're like, that doesn't look very good. And that they did a great job with it for the producers in the first season. Is that the same producers for the second season, or
we have a couple of the same, but it's a whole new vibe.
Okay.
And so you're going to be able to see it. You're just going to see how the show is run, and they put in so much hard work, and we just flow really well together.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, 5 years ago, I moved back from LA, and I was going to start the agency Dallas. And I was with a former agency agent that moved here to Dallas as well. And I was like, we can do this. I'm 28. I can do this. And then, I mean, when you see all the hard work that goes into opening an office, it also wasn't the right time because Compass had just landed, and they took a lot of the top agents. But everything happens for a reason, and I'm really grateful, thankful, all the things that it didn't happen then, because y'all were the perfect person to open up the office. You've created such a home here within this.
That's what we've tried to do.
You know, like even sitting in the sales meeting, I was like this, I said to Gigi, I was like, this feels like it does in the Beverly Hills office, where everyone just gets along, but they're themselves, and they're open and talking and laughing. And we know this because we were with other brokerages. You don't get that.
No, it's true.
And they don't work together, and they don't want to work together or share their secrets or their off markets, or like Eddie was sitting here being like, come to me and we'll find it together. It's
right.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
And it shows that y'all have really taken all the great things about the agency and just spread it so well.
Start to the top.
One of our things that we talk about when we're you know, in a recruiting meeting with anybody is like, we want them to know, like, if they join us, and this is like one of those agreements, like you're a good fit and we're a good fit.
Yeah.
Then we're telling them this is a together growth.
Well, I know that you've turned some people away that have come to want to work.
Well, yeah, and that's the unfortunate part, is because the amount of recruiting meetings that I've sat in now has been a lot. So I'm like, you learn about a lot of things. You know, you don't really. I was running a team, but I didn't do like a lot of recruiting in that team for years. I mean, I would have a few people reach out to us, and usually it's like somebody me and Megan know, and then we're like, okay, we'll join the team. But now that you're meeting people that you're meeting for the first time, one of the things that's kind of hard is, you know, that you're looking across from somebody who's going to be good, but they're just not there yet. Yes. And you're like, okay, well, we can't just like take on anybody who's like just ready to roll just because they love the agency.
Yes.
And the agency is one of those brands where people are absolutely involved in it online first before they even have anything to do with coming and seeing us in person. Mm-hmm. It's not like they're just like, let's see what brokerages are in Dallas. Okay, well, I'm going to go interview 5 of them. They're probably seeing us on Instagram or any of the other places that we're at across the country, and they're thinking, okay, that's something where I think I could enjoy working for. Yeah.
History of the agency. I mean, we're killing it.
Yeah.
And the agency's really above being a real estate company. It's a marketing company. And that's what's perfected.
That's right.
Do you feel like in Buying Beverly Hills is an extension of being a part of that marketing? Has being on the show enhanced your business?
It has. However, I was expecting it to be enhanced a lot more. But going back to what I said earlier, I think the first season, maybe people
were like, I don't want to work with the one that's like.
Well, they're like, well, let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want to work with the enemy on the show.
Yeah. Right.
Well, so what is something that you feel like was
You're going to be put in a much better light this time.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
What was something that was not accurately portrayed about you, or it's not even necessarily accurately portrayed? What is something you wish people knew about you that they didn't learn on the show?
Well, hopefully they get to the point where they kind of learn that I always am wanting to teach because I've been taught, and I still have plenty to be taught to. I mean, shit, life is crazy. But then I'm super real, and I try and make a connection with anyone I meet. I'm a really good people reader too. Like, if it's rare, but I do meet people with some bad intentions, and
Oh yeah,
can tell automatically.
100%.
But yeah, I feel like I also am a straight shooter too. Like, if you need help with something or you're doing something wrong, or I'll be the first to tell you, like, hey, I'm just here to tell you you shouldn't say that, or you shouldn't do that, or you should watch what you put on Instagram or stuff like that, because I do want everyone to win. And I feel like I put a lot of people in front of my needs first because that's just kind of the person I am. But yeah, I would want people to know that I really am, like, the show can show certain things. However, like, at the end of the day, I try and be the most loyal friend I can.
No. Like I said, you're the villain of the show, but you're the hero in my eyes. So I can't wait to see season 2.
Yeah, that's a good way to wrap the podcast. But I will say one thing. Melissa is going to tell us what her address is so everybody can go that's listening to this.
Knock on her
To
door.
her podcast. I mean, to watch episode at her place. I'm just kidding. But we are going to have a nice watching party. We'll probably do something fun with that.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, but thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Loved having you. Loved having you at the brokerage.
Thanks for being my security guard.
Trey,
Yes.
good as always.
Yep.
Yep.
Josh, make us look good.
Sure, you're in trouble for not going to forum, but we'll talk about that next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
Okay, Melissa, and what is your Instagram for everybody to come follow you?
Melissa Platt _ because Melissa Platt was already taken. Unfortunately, Melissa
She didn't
Dang it.
also get the @Melissa, the OG Twitter handle.
Just
Yeah.
Melissa.
No,
Megan,
my
what's your
password,
social?
I deleted it.
Social.
The agency Dallas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's the agency.dallas at Instagram.
Yeah.
And then the Trey has 2 podcasts, which I just told him to start promoting ours more than his. So
God. Or else you're done here.
Yep, done. You can follow me on Instagram at Trey_Stewart.
I'm going to stop paying you all this money to come on this podcast. Right?
Damon, what's your Instagram handle?
Realtor Damon.
There you go.
Very simple.
Bye.
Thank you for listening.
Bye.